Yeah, this is Bang Bang Ray Hill. Please press the like button and subscribe. Yeah, someone's asked me about when I used to work with the Arabs. Yeah, it started off. I was living in Kingston for quite some time, and I used to go from Kingston to Ealing when I worked for Crispin's Wine Bar. I was worked there for quite some time. I love Crispin's, mate. And one day, a guy came over to me and said, "Would I like to work at a place called Lucky's?" And I said, "Yeah, mate, I'd love that." I went over to Lucky's nightclub, and it was in Ealing Broadway, just over the bridge there, yeah, by the station, and it's by the green there, and it was nice. It was a nice place, you know what I mean? It was run by two Chinese guys. I think they come from the triads, that sort of thing, and they were nice guys. And the guy that run it there was a guy called Dominic McCoy. I worked with Dominic for quite some time. Nice fella, mate. Nice fella. There's a couple of guys in there could really handle themselves, yeah. And because I worked in Crispin's, I used to always wear like a suit, tie, and all that. You know what I mean? And to look smart, you know what I mean? Because you're on the door. There's only me at Crispin's, but I sorted out all my troubles in Crispin's. I had a few fights in there, a few fights that I sorted out. Got shot in the leg, but after that I got myself better, you know what I mean, and got all the wine bars sorted out. People respected me for the way I was, yeah. I've had a few fights in there because you got on the door, you know. But anyway, I worked in Lucky's. As it happens, Lucky's there was quite a bit of trouble. There was always fights Friday, Saturday, always fights there. And I mean, we had about, I suppose 4 or 5 of us in there. I was a lot inside, walking about inside, checking it all out, suited and booted. Everyone knew who I was. We all had a few fights in there, you know what I mean? So they get to know us, they get to respect you for what you are. And this particular day, there was a bit of trouble in there. I forget the guy's name. There was a guy in there, a little bodybuilder. I forget his name. Dominic McCoy, know him. And this guy could really march on. I swear, mate. He had legs as big as my waist. His legs were massive. Strong little bodybuilder, and could march on about 5'8", but really strong. Good looking guy, and he had a bit of trouble in the one day with some guys that come out of the army, some squaddies, yeah. And there was about 3 or 4 of them, and they was put outside. I'll come outside with them, and my mate hit one on the chin. So as he hit him on the chin, I followed. Bang! I've hit him on the chin. He's gone over, and it's kicked off. So now we're having the right fight in there. We have really having the right fight in there. It looks like it's going to be murders, you know. Let's take this out because I'm sweating a bit in this hot. Yeah. Anyway, here. So having a fight in there, it kicks off. As I say, outside kicks off. My mate chins one, I chin one, I chin the same one, and then it really kicks off. Anyway, but we won the day. These squares didn't want to know, they just left, yeah. My mate chased one down the road to Bar Brothers Club down the road. He chased him down there and bashed him up on a high road, up to the high road, yeah. Anyway, so the next week on a Friday night, I come in all suited and booted. There was this guy, smart guy, very smart, little Tash, very smart, talking to Dominic. And I knew Dominic worked for the Arabs at Hamgate, Richmond, yeah. I knew he worked there, and he was getting good money, you know. Fair play to Dominic. Dominic was a willing dealer. He loved his money, and he was always ducking and diving, and I really liked him. You know, he got a job there working for King Fahd. Fair play to him, yeah. So anyway, this guy with a little Tash walking about, and I'm suited and booted, calming people down, not really causing them too much trouble, more or less talking to them rather than have to throw right-handers and all that, and the other. So he said to me, he said, "Look, I've been watching you now for a couple of 3 weeks. I see you have a fight the other week, and I liked the way you done it, handled yourself. Do you fancy a job?" I said, "Look, I've got a job, mate. I work in Crispin's Wine Bar, and I also work here at Lucky's." He said, No. I said, "This job's a full-time job. This job's working for King Fahd from the Arab Emirates." I went, "Okay, he's the Crown Prince. He's the Crown Prince of Saudi Arabia. This King Fahd, yeah? He's the Crown Prince of Saudi Arabia." So I said, what does it entail? So he said, what it entails is you're looking after them, you're looking after the grounds. He isn't very often there, but what it is, there's all the shakes there, all the shakes, there's all shakers there, young shakers. They're looked after by all these African girls in the big house on the corner in Hamgate, and you got the Queen there as well. Yeah, he said your job would be walking the Doberman Pinscher around the green when they're around. I want you around there with the dog, and when they go in, I still want you walking around the grounds when they're about. So really, that is your job, the Doberman Pinscher. I said, okay. He said, you're going to get to know them. They're a bit funny. They're a bit particular. He said, but if they like you, they like you. If they don't like you, then we have to give you another job. I went, okay. I went down in. I couldn't believe the gaffers inside. There's massive. There's all rollers in there, Bentleys in there, Ferraris in there, Aston Martins in there, all sorts of posh cars. And I'm not about old cars. I'm on about brand spanking new cars, proper. And so he said, well, he said the first thing you've got to do is an introduction to the housemaid. She's in charge of she's in charge of everything here. She runs the security as such, she's in charge. She's an old woman, she's an Arabic woman, and she's a little bit over the top. She doesn't speak a lot of English, but she shouts a lot. So he introduced me to her, and he said, all that crap, and you've got to do your job. You don't do your job, you'll be chucked out, this, that, and the other. You've got to abide by the rules. You eat after they eat. We eat the same food, but you eat after they eat. You don't eat before they eat. You eat after they eat, and when they're about, you don't look at them. You don't look at them. You don't disrespect them. You don't look at them. Yeah. Oh, okay, no, okay, that's no problem, no problem. He said, but when you go around, when you walk the dogs around the green, you're walking around with the young shakers. Yeah. Well, the young shakers, they're from the age of 9. Up to the age of 15, 16, absolutely beautiful 16-year-old ones. I mean, I'll tell you about this in a minute, yeah. And he said you'll be walking around with them, and a lot of the time the Queen comes out with all the South African women, and they're walking around with her, and they're running, she's walking. So don't look at it if it's funny, don't laugh or anything like that. She'll get the sack straight away. Oh, no, yeah, okay, fair enough. So anyway, I'm there. There's two guys there. There's two guys that the kids, when the kids come out, all these young kids. Let me tell you about the kids. What happens in their religion? Yeah, when a kid gets born, a king or a queen or a young shaker or a young sheikh, when they get born, when they're about 1 or 2 years of age, they take them down to the nearest village around where they come from, you know, in what is it called, in Saudi Arabia, around that Saudi Arabia area, and they go to the villages and they get kids at that same age. They might get 10 kids out of that village or 3 kids out of the village and go around and get other kids out of other villages, yeah. So that's what they do. They bring them together. So one shaker or one sheikh would have 10 or 15 kids with him the same age. You don't really know who's who, you know. So you know that's how it is. It's a good thing the way they bring it all together, you know, as a family unit. Yeah, they don't want to meet no one outsiders. It's all one big family unit. So when these two guys, they were special forces, mate. They were special forces. They was always strapped up. You know, they always had something there. They was always taking them out. They took them out in all sorts of coaches, motors, you know, everything. I mean, when the Queen went out, when she went out, the Queen, she went out. She had a yashmak. Not many of them had yashmaks. I know the Queen really. A lot of them had all the scarves, but not the yashmak. So she had the solid one. Yeah. When she went out with about I don't know, 4 or 5 Rolls Royces. Bentleys, vans, everything. Because when she went out, she come back with them, everything full up with whatever parcels. Yeah, I mean, when I was there, the money used to come Security Express, right, or even just Security Corps, yeah. and they used to bring money across the pavement, right? Money across the pavement without any security as such. Yeah, they were also at the top, but they just carried things witty nitty because there was us there. There was always security there. Could have been 10 of us there. Plus, when the money was being delivered, them two their special force guy, they was always there. They was always waiting for it. You know what I mean? So they never ever got robbed. But every day they was to come, not every day, every other day, this would come Security Express, security call with bags and bags of money, because she used to go out with bags of money. They had safes in the back of the cars, yeah, and it was a big convoy, and there was 3 or 4 safes in the convoy, but you couldn't get into it. I mean, it was virtually impossible, you know, because that lot would be there, they'd be all gunned up. You couldn't be. I mean, the Queen herself had her own bodyguards. She had her own people that lived in the house there, and they was wrapped around her all the time. The other two special forces were for the kids when they went out. But when the kids went out, yeah, they go out in a bus to maybe Fort Park or one of them places, you know. And when they go out, they got all the special forces guys and not special forces guys. There might be 10 bodyguards go out of it, you know. But there's 2 special forces that are wrapped around the Queen and the King, young shakers and shakes. They know they are. They're wrapped around them, yeah. So when they go out with lots of money to go to Fort Parks and all these other places, you know, amusement arcades and everything. They go everywhere, yeah. They go everywhere, just buy lots of things, and that's all they do all day. So they've got the special forces who have them gunned up. So that leaves us then we're there, maybe 3 or 4 security. My dog's the dog. But she goes out with the kids. She usually goes her way, they go their way, but they all go out together at the same time. They don't mess about, yeah. It's all security, got really bags, yeah. And they all go out. So I'm there, left there with the dogs. I walk the dogs round the green just for exercises. And believe it or not, when I walked in, when they introduced me to the dogs, I was petrified. I was really petrified because they had the chopped ear rolls, yeah. They had the chopped ear rolls, right, and they was big, and they was absolutely massive. These dogs, really, really big, yeah, more so than you could ever imagine. They was huge. And when I went into the cage, yeah, I mean, it's a bit frightening to go in the cage with 2 big Doberman pinchers, you know what I mean, massive. And they come up to me, I put my hands out to them, and it was quite good, and I stroked them and all that, and I got the brushes and I started brushing them, yeah, and I started, you know, getting to know them. And anyway, they got no names. They had no names, these 2 dogs. You know, the people couldn't entice them into them because they had no names. You know, they're just dogs and all that. And people, you know, people come in to rob the place and get to the dogs. I think they can call the dogs over, and they had no names. That's part of the security, they had no names. So when I walked them around, it was called dogs and all that. Hello, come and make lovey-dovey, that sort of thing. But they didn't like too much lovey-dovey. They was always by your side. You had big chains with them, massive chains. And when I walked round the grass, round the green with them, it was a massive green, really, really big, and with little woods at the back. I was to walk around and you know, go around the woods and looking for things. So I always had the dogs with me. I mean, anything happened, mate, you just let them go, mate. They would be the pieces they don't muck about, mate. They're serious dogs. I mean, it would be mine. I'd have got better dogs, not better dogs, but maybe, I don't know, you know, these ones were a bit near the mark. Anyway, so that was my job, looking after the dogs and taking the dogs to the green. And when the Queen came out, I had to be with the dogs. And the funniest thing is, when the Queen comes out here, the Queen comes out, and when you've got the dogs there, she comes out, maybe she might have, well, I don't know, 20, 30 these African women, like servants, yeah? Beautiful women, mate, stunning, not old, young women, yeah, looking after her, yeah, and they clean the gaff and clean her and wash her and all that sort of thing, yeah. And she's got 20 of them maybe walking behind her, not walking behind her, but they were running behind her. She's walking, they're running. They've got to show respect. She's powerful. right? So they've got to show respect that they're running and she's walking, so that's the respect there, yeah? So I also had to walk as fast as I could, but not with her, you know? I was always behind. It's insulting to walk in front of her, yeah? Even with the dogs, you can't do that. You've got to walk behind her, so I have to walk really, really fast. And people are running, they're running on the spot more or less, you know, but she's walked around about 5 or 6 times. So these women have got to be quite fit, you know what I mean? And I'm walking around with the dogs and she's going, all sorts of things to me, because she didn't like the dogs around. She didn't want to be followed by dogs, but that was my job, and I had to do it. Anyway, so when it was like dinner time, you get the young shakers, right? The young shakes. The young shakes come from all around London, all the different hotels and bits and pieces. They come there for their dinner, and because it's in the summertime, they put big tables out on the yard, on the court, yeah. And they've got all rollers there, Bentleys there, Porsches. They've got all sorts of cars that you couldn't even imagine you could afford. You know what I mean? I mean, some of them cars, and Ferrari cars, I should imagine 200 or 300 grand, maybe even 700 grand. But what's money to them? Money is not important to them, because it doesn't mean a thing, money. And they come in, park the cars up, and they've got all these tables. You got the housemaid, the one who's in charge of everything. She gets the women out. The sheikhs are not allowed to get involved with any women. They're not allowed. That's why they come here first, eat their food, and then go. Then the women come out and eat their food. So they don't get involved with any women at all. So before they come down, you get all these African women come down, and they set the table. The table is set with these silver plates and silver knife and forks. Everything's, you wouldn't believe, it must cost a fucking fortune. It must cost unbelievable money, yeah, to set this all out. They've got to set it out again for the women, but it's set it out for the men. So when the sheikhs come in, they come in all sorts of Bentleys, rollers, Porsches, Mercedes, and all sorts of cars that cost a lot of money. And they're young. They look about 18, 19, maybe the oldest one 30 years of age. And when they drive into there, the smell is just unbelievable. Some sort of aftershave they put on, mate. The smell this aftershave must cost an arm and a leg, because the smell is just so beautiful, mate. You know, like I thought, well, I want some of that. They just come in and smells a whole lot, yeah. And they're all sitting down laughing and joking in their own language. Then the food gets dished out by the housemaid and some waiters. They bring these men waiters that dish it all out, not allowed the women, yeah. And they eat their food. I mean, they all eat their food, and then they get in their car, gone. But what happened, anyway, let me tell you what happened with me later. But anyway, so it's all cleaned up. All their stuff's cleaned up. And then the shakers come down, the women come down, and they eat their food. All the women, they eat their food, the servants, everything. They're all together. The Queen, the King, all together. The Queen, sorry, not the King. The Queen, everyone. The King's not even there. He only come there twice when I was there, yeah? And when he come, you wouldn't believe it. Anyway, so they all eat their food. Now, at the end of it all, we get our food. So there's maybe 20 of us, so 15, 20 of us in there. We all get our food. Let me tell you something. The food you get is the top of the creamiest food you've ever seen in your life. The fish, the chicken, the lamb, it's just unbelievable food. You know what I mean? The fruit, the vegetables, it's all cooked to the right temperature. It's just so much, you know, you think, oh, these people really live a life. But they're multied up, aren't they? They're billionaires. So this is my job as I was with the dogs. And the funny thing is, right, is when all the women go in and they're all going for a sleep or whatever, the kids come out. And they have a little bit of food. But when the kids come out, they don't go into the house. They're playing around the motors, yeah? And they're picking up footballs. They're playing cricket, tennis. They just smash the cars to pieces. You can imagine, all these cars. by the chauffeurs, yeah? Bentleys, Rollers, Porsches, all sorts of cars out there, yeah? And these kids are smashing this place to pieces with footballs, big footballs, and cricket, cricket balls, almost smashing it to pieces. You can't say anything to them kids, because you don't know which one is the Sheikh King and which one's the Shaker Princess who later on are going to be there, yeah? So anyway, all these young sheikhs and young shakers were all only young. I'm on about up to the age of 10 years of age. The bigger ones, the 16-year-old ones, they sometimes come out in the grass and play around, yeah? But when they did, my job was with the dogs to be careful, just stand at one end and watch them, yeah? Be secure. It's all secure. They were, them people, right? This particular day, there's this princess, this Arab princess, she is stunning. She can't be no older than 16. She is just so stunning, you would not believe. She's absolutely, you'd melt for her, mate. And they're playing like kids. Don't forget, these women get married at 12, 13 years of age. It's a shame, you know what I mean? And they're abused by these people, you know what I mean? But anyway, she's joking about playing on the grass. She can't do that in the daytime. But she could do it in the day, but she can't do it in the daytime when the Queen's asleep upstairs. Yeah, she can do it in the afternoon. So she's there playing around, and anyway, and then they have to go in. So when they go in, I come in with the dog, make sure everything's okay. All of a sudden, the housemaid comes out. She said, Raymond, yes, listen, one of the shakers, she left her bracelet, her necklace, lost it in the ground. Can you go pick it, find it? I can't find it, so she gets a bit more security geezers to look at it, and they find it. This necklace could have been worth absolute fortunes. I'm on about fortunes. Anyway, so the necklace, right? The necklace is, they give the necklace back. They reckon it's worth 700-800 grand. I'm not joking. Listen, you won't believe the way these people live. It's a joke. It's a joke. So anyway, so they all shoot off. They all go back in. She comes out. The Queen comes out. She gets into a Rolls Royce. They go in Bentleys, side strapped up. They all go around this and the other, and they go into some place up down the city, Harrods, I suppose, and they're going to spend a lot of money. And they're going to come back with all the motors loaded up, all the stuff. So when I first got the job, yeah, and there wasn't all there in the house. We had to go to the airport, and we had to go to Saudi Arabia Airlines and pick up the Queen and bits and pieces like that. And they had their own planes, yeah? Big 707, big things. Is it 707 or 700, whatever they're called? Massive big things. And we picked them up, and they had a big convoy, police convoy as well, following us through. When we got to the thing, anyway, this is the joke what happened. You'll believe what happened here. So I'm outside the house with the dogs, not outside by the gate, you know, looking, they're all coming back. Someone tried to run through the gate from the outside, one of these stupid protesters, you know, like come around with the banners. Mate, I'll tell you what, they was that close to get shot, mate. I swear to God. The geezers pulled out these guns. They was that close to getting shot. I swear, mate, I swear. They didn't come any further in, running it in like they did. These two guys and this women, they had just let them out because they didn't know who they were. Could have been terrorists, so they just shot them dead, mate. Anyway, so they got out of the place. The Arabs come in. 2 days later, the king of Saudi Arabia, he comes in. He comes in, I'm not joking, he comes in from not Richmond Park end, he comes from the other end, yeah. Mate, when he come down the drive, there's a massive great big drive to the house. He got all that Rothschild houses down the left hand side. They're coming in, The Rothschilds on the left, the house is right down the bottom on the right. They come in with, I don't know, maybe 4 riders at the front, 4 riders at the back, Range Rovers. They come in, he comes in a roller. They jump out of the roller, get to the gate, guns walking around, the guns and machine guns and shit like that. It's a bit up the top, but that's what you've got to do, isn't it? Because of the terrorism and all that shit. So we're there, and they're telling us, we're security, they're telling us to go into our little room. You can go in there, don't come out, stay there, shut the door, lock the door, and we're in there. We can't get out of there, yeah? Because it's security conscious, it's mad. It's fucking mad. He comes in, they all wrap around him, he goes in. But what he had done when we was there was a lot of work being done when we was there. He had a lift. This is unbelievable. He had a lift put in from the ground floor up to his bedroom, which was 2 floors up. Beautiful big house, massive house. He had this big lift put in. And I'm only telling you what I was told. That even if he's Saudi Arabia, king of Saudi Arabia and the prince or whatever he is, yeah, they ain't supposed to drink. He used to get drunk and fall into the lifts and go upstairs. And the women, would pull him out of the lift and undress him and put him in his night clothes and put him in bed. Good job, innit? You know what I mean? Swear on my life. And I loved that job. But I was a fool to myself, yeah? Fool to myself. I had a fallout with one of these special forces guys, yeah? They used to have these bolts, like a bolt, yeah? With 2 nuts on, nut at that end, nut the other end. And they used to fit in the hand like that, nut that side, nut that side. And there was special hardened steel, and they had all rounded off, and it was like, and when they used to fight with them, they used to boom, they hit you in your joints, your elbows, your knees, all round joints. What? And he, mucking about, he's saying, whoop, he hit me in the chest, mate. I swear, he hit me in the chest. I couldn't breathe, mate. It took it right, the way they do it. Whoop, like that, it was like, went straight through me. Went straight down my body. Whoop, whoop, straight down. I went, fucking hell. I said, mate, slow down, mate. Slow down. This is how we do it. I said, yeah, but you ain't got to do it that hard, you know what I mean? Yeah, what are you? Some sort of, wanker and all this sort of thing. I said, I know wanker, mate. I don't know about all that shit. I said, but for me to have a row with him, Mike to have a row with him, that thing in his hands, them things in their hands, and it's like, come on, it's virtually impossible to get near them. The special forces, they know the game. You're going to get hurt, and maybe you could knock him out, I don't know, maybe you could hit him on the chin, or whatever, yeah. But to muck about, I mean, I had a fight with a couple of security guards in there who thought there was SAS, special forces. They're absolutely useless. I knocked one out, and the other one was a complete out and out waste of time. But what I found about that job, everybody's after cutting one another's throats. They're all after a better job in there, so they're all after cutting your throat. My job was with the dogs, so they couldn't cut my throat because my dog was with the dogs. The dogs is the worst job possibly could have. So they couldn't cut my do me. You know what I mean? But everybody else, the jobs they had, I mean, there was, as I say, these 2 special force guys. I'm not joking. You think it's a joke? You think it's a lie? There was a young Arab princess, yeah, and she was, I don't know, 11, 12. And when I used to go out to Fort Park and places like that, she fell for one of these security, this special forces guy. When I say fell, she liked him a lot, and she bought him this watch, Petit Philippe, I don't know what it was some special watch all diamond up and everything, right? She bought him that as a present, yeah? And I didn't know because I got the sack, but when he left, she's supposed to have bought him Mercedes Sports, a brand new Mercedes Sports, just as a present, yeah? Is what these people were like. But there was a young princess, yeah? The young princess that was having an affair, right? Not in where I worked, it was in a hotel. I think it was in the city, Park Lane, one of them hotels around there. She was stunning, mate. You know, because she come to where we are. She come to where we are. That was her punishment, yeah. But I'll tell you about the punishment. She liked, got to really like one of the security guards, and they believe that he was fucking playing around with her. He was like, not taking liberties. She loved it, and that was it. And they was too close. She come to us. He, don't know what happened to him. What we was told, he just disappeared. He just went off he went, whether they paid him money or whatever, they chopped him or whatever, took him for a ride in the boat, I don't know what happened. But she come and she was stunning, mate. The other one was stunning, but this one was 19, 20. She was stunning. She was going to be a queen or something, or one, you know, and she was involved with this young sheikh. You know, young sheikh was wrapped around her. He didn't come with her, but he was wrapped around her, yeah, and somewhere else. And she's caught mucking about with this security guard. Her punishment, right, this is her punishment. Her punishment was what happened. When she come, she was shipped to another hotel, the back of Harrods Hotel. Her punishment was that every day she'd be surrounded by security guards, and the head of the hotel, the head of the guy in charge of these Arab women, she would go to Harrods and she would spend whatever she wanted to spend, but she couldn't go out at night time. But she could walk around the hotel, inside the hotel, but not go nowhere or nothing. And she could spend as much as she wants to spend until she goes back to her own country in Saudi Arabia. You know, how bad is that? But, you know, anyway, when she come through, she was stunning, mate. She was stunning. You see her in the back of the car. She looked really pissed off. She had a veil over her face, but you could see her face, and she was just stunning. But you really couldn't look. When I say you couldn't look, you couldn't really look at her like that, you know what I mean? Because they'd be on you, you'd lose your job. So she eventually had to go, yeah. She had to go, and what was funny, when we was like all us lot, we got, you know, when all that lot would be like sleeping and this, and we'd be out mucking about, like playing. What we used to do, we used to play pennies up the wall. You know, 50 pences or whatever, throw them up the wall for money. And, you know, we used to get a lot of money out of it, you know, I mean, for a joke, you know, playing amongst ourselves. And one day, when they come, the sheikhs come, they come, and we come out of our place, and it's quite a distance away from where they are, and we was playing pennies, or whatever it was, up the wall. One of the young sheikhs, 19, 18, smoked like nothing you could ever imagine. Really smart in that Arabic stuff. You know, talking to us. Where you play? We'll tell them what you play. They're not supposed to gamble. Can I play? You know, so my mate, he's going to me, fuck me, get the watch. He's got this fucking watch on his wrist. How much they got to come? Hours of grand, you don't know, do you? You want to play? So yeah, okay, we'll play. We'll give him some money. He plays up the thing, plays up. He ain't supposed to gamble. You play for anything else? Like what? My watch? I'd play my watch for your watch. We had silly old snide Rolexes, Petit Philippe's, snide fucking things that cost you about, 25, 30 quid. My mate was up for it. I went, leave off. My mate was up for it big time. As I told you, all this lot, they would grass your arse up, eyes are winking, to get you out and whatever, nick your job. But who wants to nick my job? I got the fucking dogs. But they did. So playing up. So we get the watch, my mate gets the watch, he wins back, my mate gets the snide, this, that and the other. They go. All of a sudden we get called into the office, upstairs. in this body around the side of this Arab's place, and it's this housemaid. She's in charge. Raymond, okay, you play up the wall with pennies. You take the watch from the young sheikh. Yes, ma'am. You give it back? Yes, madam. No, you didn't give it back. You give him back no good watch. Okay, let me tell you what we do. You get the watch, you give it back. You now lose your job. You go. We're going to pay you up to Christmas. They pay me £800 a week. Don't forget this in the summertime. They pay me £800 a week. That's what you was getting. That's a retainer. You're retainer. You haven't got to ever work, mate. That's a retainer. You get that every week when they go back. But they give me a big lump sum. I was getting £800 a week. Not a lump sum. I was getting still about £800 a week. I got a sack. And never in a million years, mate, was it worth getting a sack for a place like that. You know what I mean? But before I got the sack, we used to go to places like Dorchester, the Hilton, and all them places. And the worst, driving me mad, mate. You have to be suited and booted, really smart, to go in the hotels. You go up the stairs with these young sheikhs. They all got these things on, they're smelling of whatever. They got people right round them with the money. They never carry money, never ever carry money. They got people right round them who carry the money, yeah? They got people who carry the money, so they're going to the hotel. They take the whole floor. They take the whole floor is blocked off. The stairs are blocked off. The lift, people at the lifts, no one can come and go, right? Only us. Our job is to stand outside the rooms, yeah, near the rooms, waiting for these Arabs to come out and collect their women or whatever. Mate, you're out there hours. They're in there, not supposed to drink. Drinks coming through them. Drinks are coming through like it's going out of fashion with trolleys, champagnes and all sorts of things. And you're getting, these young girls are absolutely stunning young girls. I'm on about stunning young girls, right? That you can't believe it. They must be charging £1,000 a time or whatever. These Arabs don't care, don't they? The guy comes out, they go in, then the guy comes out with the money, he comes out with the bag, and the women just do what they got to do, stay in there for what, an hour, 2 hours, and come out giggling, laughing with a big loads of money. But we was there for fucking days, mate, doing this, you know, go home, come back, and all this shit, yeah. Anyway, I got the sack. Dominic was gutted that I got the sack. Dominic run it, really. Dominic run it. He was telling me what you got to be careful. There's a few in there who got to shoot up with something, they did. I lost the job. Anyway, this is Bang Bang My Hill. Please press the like button and subscribe. And yes, such a good job. And I ruined it, yeah. And have a nice night, yeah. Bye-bye.